Rachel Hollis, didn't see that coming, putting life back together when your world falls apart. And Didn't See That Coming, Rachel Hollis provides readers with an insightful look into the process of rebuilding one's life after experiencing a crisis. By sharing her own experiences and exploring various identity shifts, Hollis helps readers understand how to claim their authentic identity and navigate life's difficult moments. This summary will delve into the complexities of different identity crises, the importance of a growth mindset, habits that could deepen your pain during a crisis, and how to reimagine a better future from within your new reality. With an engaging and instructive tone, the summary aims to make complex concepts more digestible for readers seeking clarity and guidance during their challenging times.
Embrace authentic identity in crisis. Crisis has a way of challenging our identity, and how we respond can make all the difference in navigating these turbulent moments. There are three main types of identity crises: losing an established identity, being denied a desired identity, and outgrowing a once valued identity. To endure life's challenges, it is essential to claim your authentic identity by being honest with yourself, flexible in your approach, and proactive in self-reflection. When the tumultuous tides of life unsettle your sense of self, it might feel like you've suddenly landed on an alien planet. You're physically present and trying to adapt, but your brain is still playing catch-up. Life's upheavals, such as the death of a loved one or the collapse of a marriage, can cause immediate changes you'll notice. However, processing the blow to your identity may take a little longer. Owning your authentic identity is crucial for weathering the storms of life. Let's explore three types of identity crises and how to maneuver through them. First, you might feel as if your identity has been stolen from you. For instance, after losing your spouse, you may question your identity as a partner. It's essential to remember that you are still an incredible spouse. The identity you've forged remains unaffected by the hardship you've endured. Second, an identity crisis might occur when a desired identity is unattainable. Your dreams of parenthood might be obstructed by infertility, leaving you feeling incomplete. In such cases, ask yourself if you're too attached to a specific path towards achieving your desired identity. By remaining open to alternative options, such as adoption or surrogacy, you maintain your pursuit of the ultimate goal. Lastly, an identity crisis can arise when you continue to cling to an identity that no longer serves you or aligns with your values, despite having achieved it. Perhaps you reached the top of the corporate ladder, only to feel empty and unfulfilled. At this point, it's crucial to reassess your priorities and be open to the possibility of pursuing new directions that better suit your authentic self. The key to enduring life's trials is to recognize that you are the only one responsible for defining your identity. Engaging in honest self-reflection and being adaptable in your approach will guide you toward success and personal fulfillment. Embrace self-love, overcome guilt. In times of personal crisis, one must remember not to be consumed by guilt and self-blame. Recognize the wrong, let go of guilt, heal negative emotions, and practice self-love. Even if others still hold on to your past mistakes, give yourself permission to move forward and embrace significant life changes. When a crisis strikes, it can sometimes feel like the world has crashed down around us. In certain instances, the crisis may very well be the direct result of our actions. These situations may involve dishonesty, disloyalty, anger, or addiction. So, when faced with a self-inflicted crisis, how can we find the strength to pick up the pieces and rebuild our lives? First and foremost, remember this: if you've caused your crisis, don't let guilt and shame consume you. Guilt and shame demonstrate that you acknowledge the wrong you've done, and that realization is a crucial step towards recovery. By facing your actions and accepting responsibility, you're already making progress. The next phase in your journey is to release yourself from the chains of guilt. Dwelling in guilt doesn't solve problems or improve your situation. In fact, it prolongs your agony. Instead of getting bogged down in self-hatred, turn towards self-love. It takes immense courage to embrace self-love and let go of guilt, but it's necessary for healing and moving forward. During this process, you might encounter obstacles from those around you. But it's crucial to rise above negativity, and not let others use your guilt to fuel their agendas. For instance, in relationships marred by unfaithfulness, the wronged party might need their partner to feel guilty as a form of punishment. However, that doesn't help rebuild trust within the relationship. When guilt can no longer be contained, the partnership could potentially end. There will be times when you've freed yourself from guilt, but others might still fixate on your past mistakes. For example, a father who wants to start dating after a bitter divorce despite his children's disapproval, or a recovering addict trying to rebuild their life while their family lingers on past errors. Remember that you're not obligated to bear the weight of guilt forever. In conclusion, it's essential to embrace change, move on with grace, and let the people around you catch up. By casting aside guilt and focusing on self-love, you'll pave the way to a better, brighter future for yourself and those who matter most. Transforming crisis to opportunity. Embracing a change in perspective can turn a crisis into an opportunity, enabling personal growth and a positive approach to challenging situations. By recognizing past influences on our worldviews and being open to alternative viewpoints, we can navigate crises more effectively and make the best of difficult circumstances. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, while relatively small in size, captivates people around the world, and it's all due to the power of perspective. People love posing with the tower, appearing to be either hugging it or supporting its iconic lean. This seemingly minor adjustment in perspective is what makes the tower such a popular attraction. Just like the tower, shifting our perspective can also have a dramatic impact on how we deal with crises in our lives. The ability to see a crisis from a different angle can turn it into an opportunity, instead of a debilitating event. For example, a terrible divorce could be seen as a downward spiral into isolation, or it could be embraced as a fresh start and a new phase of life. However, many people equate their perspectives with reality, making it difficult to reframe their viewpoints in the face of adversity. So, how can we develop the ability to change our perspectives? First and foremost, remember that you have successfully changed your perspective numerous times throughout your life. As you grow and learn, your beliefs and understanding of the world evolve. What may have seemed absolute as a child, like delivery by storks or magical tooth fairies, is now understood as implausible with adulthood. Second, it's essential to reflect on how past experiences shape your current worldviews. Consider whether specific beliefs come from evidence-based observations or just reactions to past traumas. For instance, do you think all dogs are dangerous because of a childhood dog bite, or do you believe all relationships are destined for failure due to a toxic past relationship? In times of crisis, maintaining a healthy perspective is key. This entails exploring alternative ways of thinking, acknowledging past influences without letting them dictate your present outlook, and building a support system of people who encourage balanced perspectives. By doing so, you may not completely alleviate the difficulty of the situation, but you will make it more manageable, ultimately leading to a stronger outcome. Embrace the power of perspective and turn crises into opportunities for growth and improvement. Cultivate a growth mindset. In the face of a crisis, different people react in distinct ways, but the key to emerging stronger and more resilient lies in having a growth mindset. Not only does it enable one to adapt and recover, but it can also be developed over time. To nurture this mindset, accurately pinpoint your problems, discover your learning style, and continue experimenting with alternative approaches before finding a solution. Crises have a way of unveiling one's true nature. Some emerge broken and fragmented, whereas others rise above the calamity and become more potent than before. It begs the question of why such varied outcomes arise from similar instances of trauma and how individuals can ensure that they come out fortified. The answer springs from a person's mindset, specifically their cultivation of a growth mindset. A growth mindset may be defined by contrasting it with its antithesis, a fixed mindset. Those who possess a fixed mindset perceive their abilities, skills, and intelligence as having inherent limits. Consequently, they struggle to cope during testing times, often believing that they lack the means to combat their adversities. In contrast, a growth mindset embodies the ingrained conviction that one can develop the required capabilities to conquer stumbling blocks, given enough time and effort. This optimistic outlook translates to greater adaptability and resilience despite hardships. For individuals who believe they are confined to a fixed mindset, there is good news: a growth mindset can be deliberately developed. To do so, the first step is to clearly delineate one's problems and avoid seeking answers to vague questions. Instead, define specific issues and research ways that are tailored to address these aspects adequately. In doing so, one can zero in on the most relevant and useful information. Secondly, it is crucial to discern one's learning style. It may not always be feasible to distill knowledge from a mundane textbook, and it is crucial to explore various avenues like community classes, YouTube tutorials, art therapy, or workbooks. Diversifying learning methods is essential in fostering a well-rounded personal development process. Last but not least, persistence is vital even in the face of failure. Yielding to the fixed mindset occurs when one surrenders after initial setbacks, whereas genuinely embracing a growth mindset demands experimenting with different approaches until discovering what works best. By continuously refining one strategy, an individual can develop the skills and mental fortitude to surmount any challenge with grace and resilience. Embracing life after crisis. When faced with a crisis, it's natural to want to retreat from the world and focus on grieving, but that phase must eventually pass. To truly overcome the trauma, it's crucial to be present in your own life by seeking support, trying different healing methods, and establishing habits for self-care. Remember, a crisis is not a reason to give up on life, it's an opportunity to grow and reinvent yourself. Heart-wrenching situations have a way of leaving us feeling shattered and disconnected from the world. A failed relationship, financial difficulties, or the loss of a loved one can rock your foundation. It's normal to need a break from the chaos, but the important thing is not to let the crisis consume you. The pivotal lesson here is that a crisis shouldn't be an excuse to give up on life. You might feel like your world has stopped, but life goes on. Once you've navigated through the darkest days, it's crucial to step back into the reality of living. It's not just for your own sake, your presence matters to your loved ones too. Your partner, friends, colleagues, and especially your children need your support and presence. Don't burden them with your pain or distance yourself from their lives. Instead, seek help and reassurance. Finding solace isn't easy, especially after a traumatic event, but plenty of resources are available to guide you. Support groups, therapists, and trusted friends are phenomenal outlets for discussing your emotions. If you prefer solitude, journaling or meditation can also provide great refuge. It's important to experiment with different coping strategies to discover what works best for you. As long as you're taking proactive steps, you're on the right path. Beyond seeking support, another critical aspect of healing is automating your stress management techniques. Establishing healthy routines and habits benefits your well-being and helps you maintain stability during trying times. Schedule regular exercise, set reminders for vitamins, and designate time for relaxation. These routines will provide a solid basis for mental and physical health, enabling you to better support those around you. In summary, recovering from a crisis is about recognizing that it's not the end of life but instead an opportunity for growth. As you grieve and heal, be proactive in finding support, embracing self-care, and maintaining your emotional health. Don't let the crisis define you, instead, use it as a catalyst for reinvention and a meaningful life. Crisis and bad habits. When facing a crisis, resorting to small comforts such as eating, shopping, or having a glass of wine might seem like effective stress busters. However, these can lead to toxic habits that ultimately intensify your pain. During turmoil, your brain's problem-solving capabilities are compromised, causing you to succumb to harmful stress coping strategies. Fostering good habits such as intentional breathing and intuitive exercises can help you navigate difficult periods more healthily, ultimately reducing stress and avoiding detrimental dependency on unhealthy comforts. During turbulent times, what begins as a quick stress reliever could rapidly turn into an unhealthy addiction. It may feel natural to indulge in seemingly insignificant ways, but these actions can gradually morph into toxic habits. The crux of the problem is this: in a crisis, bad habits serve to exacerbate your suffering. Experiencing trauma leads to your brain becoming consumed by stress, leaving less room for sound decision-making and problem-solving. At your mental capacity's limit, your brain is more vulnerable to unhealthy compulsions. Consequently, without the presence of mind to put a stop to harmful patterns, habits that once seemed harmless can spiral into serious coping mechanisms that ultimately worsen your stress. Incorporating positive habits is essential, even when life gets unpredictable. While it may be easier to establish such habits in peaceful times, it's still possible to adapt even during crises. For example, practice intentional breathing when feeling overwhelmed, closing your eyes and taking deep breaths to center yourself before tackling the next challenge can make a stark difference. Additionally, remember to engage in physical activity, but be gentle with yourself. Rather than setting unattainable fitness goals, embark on intuitive workouts that cater to your needs for the day. From vigorous cardio to calming stretches, let your body's requirements guide your exercise, and you'll better manage your stress and ward off the temptation to seek solace in unhealthy behaviors. Joy amidst crisis. Robert Frost's quote, "The best way out is always through," aptly applies to working through a traumatic event in order to move on with life. It is possible to find joy even during crises, including through humor and appreciating the small moments in life. Gratitude journals and creating your own sources of happiness can also help cope with adversity. As you navigate through a traumatic event, you have a choice on how to approach the journey. Will you let bitterness consume you, or will you find reasons to smile along the way? Even in the darkest moments, humor and happiness can still be found. Take, for example, the gallows humor of the early 20th century. While most criminals would understandably sulk on their way to the gallows, some surprisingly laughed or joked during their last moments. This historical phenomenon serves as a reminder that despite dire circumstances, humor and happiness can still exist. During a crisis, laughing or finding pleasure in things may feel wrong or inappropriate. However, it's not. In fact, humor and happiness become crucial tools for coping throughout the ordeal. Laughter provides catharsis, a way of asserting yourself and declaring that you still possess the ability to feel joy, despite your circumstances. Although it may seem impossible to find happiness during a crisis, consider these two strategies. 1. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down daily what you are thankful for, even when it's difficult to think of something. As you practice gratitude, you will notice more things to appreciate, and they will accumulate over time. 2. Create your own joy. Happiness doesn't always have to be spontaneous. You can actively plan activities or moments that give you joy, such as scheduling an ice cream date, a trip to the beach, or another joyful event. Proactively seek out joy instead of waiting for it to appear. In conclusion, finding humor, happiness, and joy even during the most challenging times is essential to overcome adversity and move forward with life. Laughter, gratitude, and personal joy creation are powerful tools that can help transform the crisis experience, paving the way towards healing and growth. Redefining your future. A crisis can abruptly change the trajectory of our lives and force us to reevaluate the future we once envisioned. By accepting the uncertainty of the future and focusing on the present moment, we can begin to rebuild and refine our lives. It's essential to recognize aspects of our lives that no longer serve us and create a detailed vision for our ideal selves. Translating that vision into actionable goals will help us inch closer to the best version of ourselves with confidence and determination. In times of crisis, you may sometimes feel that your dreams and plans have been shattered, leaving you bereft of the future you once imagined. Faced with the aftermath of a crisis, it's crucial to remind yourself that it's possible to construct a different and better future. To accomplish this, you must be willing to embrace imagination, flexibility, and resilience. Recovering from a crisis starts with acknowledging the uncertainty of the future while also accepting the present moment for what it is. It's valuable to reflect on past challenges, understanding that they have made you stronger and more equipped to face your current situation. From this standpoint, you can begin consciously rebuilding your life, taking charge of which elements you want to keep or discard. To redefine your future, be honest with yourself about aspects of your life that need adjustment or removal. This process requires courage and self-awareness, but it allows for the opportunity to reconstruct a better version of yourself. Next, develop a clear vision of the kind of life and person you want to become. Envision the details of your ideal self, where you live, your occupation, your habits, ambitions, and interests. Once you have established a compelling vision of your future, translate that image into tangible goals. Start by setting a single, achievable goal that brings you closer to your ideal self. This initial success will lead to other attainable targets, each propelling you forward in the pursuit of personal growth and fulfillment. Embrace each step and savor the process, knowing that the completion of each goal adds to your confidence and self-belief. In times of crisis, remember that there is always an opportunity to redefine your future and become a better you. By accepting your present situation, identifying areas for change, and setting actionable goals, you can build a brighter and more promising future for yourself.
Throughout Didn't See That Coming, Rachel Hollis offers valuable insights into overcoming identity crises, utilizing a growth mindset, coping with self-inflicted crisis, and ultimately reshaping one's future in the wake of traumatic events. By practicing honest self-reflection, cultivating strong support networks, and focusing on recovery, readers will be better equipped to navigate the unpredictabilities of life and emerge stronger, more resilient, and authentic. With an instructive and engaging style, the book summary equips readers with a coherent understanding of the key takeaways and essential messages of this empowering self-help book. Remember, it's never too late to define your own identity, change your perspective, and build a better version of yourself for the future.